Recording in progress.
Hi, and welcome to another Art of Unraveling podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. Today, I want to talk about why we are wanting to gather in women's circles, why we need women's circles now more than ever. And this comes with a story because at the summer solstice, I did a ritual that I've never done before, that I found somebody on Instagram was saying, do this. And so it started on the winter solstice, December 21st. You had to write 10 wishes, desires, dreams, goals that you have for yourself. And then each day you fold them up into little pieces of paper. And then each day you put it like a bowl or whatever. Each day you draw one out, you don't read it, and you go and burn it. And you're left on New Year's Eve, I believe it is, or New Year's Day, with one wish. And that is what you're meant to focus on for the year. And somebody else just told me, because I was told that the other things that you wrote down, you still can work on and you can still work towards. But I love what somebody else told me, that the way she learned it is that the other wishes that you didn't get left with, the universe has got those. The universe is working on those. God is working on those for you. And whichever one you draw is the one you're meant to put your focus, your energy, your attention on. Well, I was so surprised when the one that was left for me was create soul-aligned friends and community here, meaning here in Florida. And then I wrote a networking event ? So it's right here for those of you that can see. So that is the little slip of paper that was left. It's been sitting on my desk and I've not really been putting that much attention to it because I had my book. I had all these other things going on. The book took a lot of my time towards the beginning of the year. And so I was like, I'll get to that, but I know that I've got to focus on that this year to create some soul aligned connections here where I live in Florida, because I have not done that. I've been here almost 2.5 years, and so many big life transitions were going on for me. Number one, just moving across the country from Iowa to Florida was a huge life transition with my husband and our 2 cats and all of our stuff. And then just getting here and just letting my nervous system settle. I remember I didn't even want to really go anywhere for the first 6 months. I mean, I did, obviously, but like just little things, grocery store here and there, because it was so overwhelming. The traffic, the people, like it's very different than Dubuque, Iowa. It's a much bigger city and area. There's a lot more people here. So, and then we had our wedding to plan. I had 2 retreats internationally that year, or 3, I think. Yeah, I had 3. And then it's just been like a lot. Then searching for a house, then buying a house. And that was in July. We bought our house in Dunedin. I'm getting back to women's circles. Just stick with me here. So then this is what I draw, right? So it's taken me a while to settle. I didn't really want to invest heavily with time into a community up until we bought a house, because I didn't know where we would end up. And this area is quite large. So it's, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I like to kind of stay in my little nook of the woods, so to speak. Long story longer. I decided to take some action this week towards my goal that I'm meant to be working towards, because the girl that I learned this ritual from, this woman, she said every year that she did this, she's done it 2 years. 1 year, her focus was creating a retreat. That was the piece of paper she was left with, the one piece of paper at the end of the 10 days. And she said it wasn't just the retreat that changed her life. It was all the steps she took to create the retreat, the marketing of it, the posting, whatever she had to do, the creating the planning of the retreat, that whole process, she said, completely changed her life. So it's kind of like, and similar with her goal the year before, but I can't remember what that was. And so it really just had me thinking, like, okay, like I want to try this. And so this week, I finally took action. And, for me, I have been here for 2.5 years. I've done retreats all over, or sorry, workshops all over. I was welcomed with such a community right away when I moved to Dubuque because I had Body and Soul. Those of you that live in the area know about Body and Soul, and Julia and Scott Tyson instantly had me working there. They had me teaching a workshop at their place before I even moved. In fact, Julia is pretty much the reason I moved from Los Angeles back to Iowa to Dubuque. But when I came here, I lost my train of thought there for a second. When I came to Florida, I didn't have that. I came here because of the weather. I came here because of the beach and my husband's job. And so I didn't have that community right away. And I didn't make a lot of time to go, again, like invest in community and get myself in rooms with people because I was going through a lot of my own healing journey, dealing with some physical health issues and stuff like that. Anyway, so I was really like feeling a heaviness because I had such a beautiful community in Iowa, and I had, my places that I could go teach whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And that was such a beautiful thing to have that I just didn't have here. And I'd reached out to a few places, few yoga studios, and really didn't hear very much, like offering different workshops. So coming back to what we're talking about, which is on Monday, I believe it was, there's a group. I live in a town called Dunedin, if you're not familiar, in Florida. And there's a Facebook group here called Dunedin Happenings. And I posted there and I just said, hey, hi, everybody. I'm looking for a location to host a women's circle because I really feel deeply about getting women together. There's something about being witnessed, about just being in a non-judgmental space where you can be witnessed that is deeply healing for us as women. And so I just said, hey, I'm looking for a space, and does anybody have any recommendations? And then I put a picture of me. It was when I was in Italy on my retreat this past September. And there's like over 500 comments on there. A lot of those are mine. So let's just say there's like 250 or 300 comments of people giving me locations to host, but also all these women saying, I want in, I want in, I want in, I want in. And it really affirmed for me that this is so needed right now. And so I have a Facebook group now that I created that's for the local circle. I also have an online circle called the Light Leader Collective, where I'm doing something similar, but on my online Light Leader Collective monthly membership. It's a masterclass teaching. So it'll be around nervous system work, around intuition building, being a sensitive and having tools to manage that. So there's like a masterclass, and then we do the women's circle in an online setting, and it works the same way. Obviously, it's nice to be in person if you can do that, but a lot of times people can't find the time, or you're just in a location where that's not available. So I have two, but in the in-person one, there's different people saying, well, what activities are we doing? Or what's this or what's that? And it's like, it's such a unique experience what I want to do, which is a sistership circle where we're going deeply into witnessing each other. There's ritual, there's ceremony, there's practice, but it's really about women getting to speak and share without being interrupted, without advice giving, just to be witnessed, to be heard. So why is this so popular right now? Why is this something that we are seeking out in such a deep way? And I'm going to give you some reasons why I think that's happening. So we're hyper connected, so we can see everybody. This is number one. We're hyper connected. We can see what's going on in other people's lives, but we're deeply disconnected. I know that I have friends even from like high school and different things, and it's like you feel like you know what's going on with their life, so you don't maybe bother to like actually call and connect with them or reaching out and see what they're doing. Like I see different friends of mine that follow my stuff, but don't really, I know nothing about what's going on in their lives. And that's the issue with social media, right? It's like, it's wonderful for so many things, but it also makes us deeply disconnected. We've lost touch with having communication, with connecting with each other, from really seeing like, how are you doing? So the second one is women are exhausted from being the strong ones. So many women, we're holding it all together. We're holding the to-do list, what's for dinner, all the appointments, what needs to get done in the house. There's the constant to-do list running. We're holding everything. Our family, we are the emotional support animals. That's a chapter in my book. We are the emotional support animals it's a little bit of a joke, but we are the emotional support for the people around us. Most of us, especially if you feel called in my world, you are that strong woman that's like, you can do it all, and you're freaking exhausted, right? From doing it all and from holding it all in the mind. So circles are going to give you permission to soften, to not have answers, and to just be. We identify with being a caretaker and the one who keeps it all together, but we rarely allow ourselves to be cared for. And that is a huge distinction, that people that resonate with being kind of that type A personality, or the strong one for their family, or the firstborn daughter, we are the caretaker. A lot of us, I have clients that they ended up raising a lot of their brothers and sisters. Some of them, like, I remember one woman, she had like 10 brothers and sisters that she helped raise, right? So we've always been the caretaker, but we don't know how to be cared for. And when you come into a circle space like the one I'm creating with the Light Leader Collective online and this in-person one, you are going to feel held and cared for and allow yourself to be seen. And you don't have to be the strong one in that space. And that's deeply healing. Here you get to be real. So number 3, there's a buildup of unprocessed emotion in the body. Stress, grief, anxiety, trauma that hasn't had space to move. And we don't need more information. Most women are stuck in their heads. They're not embodied in their body. If you're in Iowa, I have an upcoming, or if you're online and want the online version, upcoming workshops, Unravel and Restore, and also Soma Yin, which are both really great for this number 3 point right here, working with our nervous system to unravel this stuff. When one woman shares, it opens up something in everyone else. So it allows you, when you're listening to somebody else's story, it's allowing you a safe space to feel what's really going on in there, and to resonate with that other woman, and to see your own life mirrored in what she's saying. So it's kind of a collective healing and collective release, not just like a personal one. You're doing the work together. Number 4, we've lost sacred spaces and rites of passage. In olden times, this was a big thing. There were sacred spaces. Women came together. They had ceremony together. There were rites of passage, from moving from a daughter to a woman, from a woman to a mother, and so on and so forth. So, gathering for birth transitions, death transitions, seasons of life. But now we're expected to just navigate life's biggest moments alone. Circles bring back intention, ritual, and meaning. And they create a sense of belonging that modern life really lacks. So, number 5, the nervous system heals in relationship, in co-regulation. So, healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in a safe connection. So, just being in the room with other women that are holding a non-judgmental space, not advice giving, not making you feel like you're less than by like, hey, did you think of this? Have you tried this? But just holding the space to be witnessed. This is deeply healing for the nervous system. Being around other women also helps you feel safe again. And it's especially powerful for women stuck in overdrive anxiety or shutdown. Number 6, women are craving depth, authenticity, and truth. Surface level connection just isn't cutting it anymore. We want soulful connection. We want to shift away from hustle, perfection, and performance. We want spaces where we can be messy, honest, spiritual, and embodied. Circles meet that deeper hunger. Number 7, collective healing happens when stories are shared. You realize, oh, it's not just me. She's dealing with that too, right? Shame dissolves in shared experience. Patterns begin to break when they're witnessed out loud. When one woman heals, it gives permission for others to do the same. Number 8, this is about remembering, not learning something new. There's something ancient about sitting in circle. Like, deep in our DNA, we've done this. Our ancestors have done this in the past. We feel it. It allows the nervous system to relax. The body recognizes it. It feels familiar, even if it's your first time. Circles are less about teaching. They're more about remembering who we are. And then there's also the point too, number 9, of the sisterhood wound. A lot of women have been hurt by other women. They've been judged. They've been bullied. Maybe the mean girls in high school or middle school happened for you. We don't trust other women. We've had past experiences of jealousy, comparison, gossip, betrayal, exclusion. Many of us learned early on that women were not safe. And if we had female leaders in our life, our moms, our grandmothers that were not kind to us, we learn not to trust women. It can also happen for men too. We learn to not trust men. But in this case, I'm talking about women. So we get competitive with each other. And then you go on social media and it's just everybody's life seems perfect. And so then the comparison sets in, and then the not enough sets in. So there's this cultural conditioning of scarcity and comparison. There's only room for one. And in Circle, it becomes a place where we can heal that sisterhood wound and have a new lived experience of women listening instead of judging, of being celebrated instead of compared, of being witnessed instead of dismissed. It rewires what it feels like to be in a relationship with other women. So this is why circles are not just a nice to have right now. They're responding to a very real gap in how we live, relate, and process as humans in modern culture. When you zoom out, it makes sense why these feel more essential than ever before for collective healing. And so if this resonates with you, I would love to see you at one of my circles. I have the online one called Light Leader Collective, which is for empaths, highly sensitive women that want to have nervous system understanding, get a real deep teaching, a masterclass in intuition building, nervous system regulation, somatic practices. We go through all kinds of different things. And have the connection, the deep soul connection with other women through the format I will be leading in that circle. So that's monthly. We meet monthly for that online. separate pre-recorded somatic practice to do if you do the online version. And if you're in the Dunedin, Florida area, I will be doing in-person versions of this as well. So I would love to see you at either. And the next online circle is April 16th. So get in, but if you're listening to this later, this will still be going. So just reach out to me. There'll be links below this video or podcast to get in on this. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you next time.